Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. Tuesday, opening up with Marshmallow, as my nephews call it, as you guys are calling it in the live chat room, but that's metal to my ears. That's the name of the song officially. Anyway, thank you for requesting that over on Patreon, and I'm going to get the live chat room up on screen because last time I just took ages to get everything up on the screen in the live stream. So here we go. We're going to jump in there straight away because we have Billy and Bev and Bob's in there. And that's a bad time to jump into the live chat room. Laurelie M, Benita, Jennifer, Billy again. Lisa, Randy's in there as well. Samantha and Shawnee Key, Sam, all you guys. Hello. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday night. Right. It has been a bit of a rush tonight getting everything organised because I'm trying to find time to edit together the video of the interview that I did with Phil Palmer last week. And to give an update on that, I've got as far as having watched the whole footage through, which is over 2.5 hours. So I've managed to find at least 2.5 hours somewhere, and I've marked out, I've marked out the interesting parts or the different topics that we were talking about, and there are about 40 or 50 bookmarks throughout the 2.5 hours. So I'm going to keep you guys up to date over on Patreon as to how that goes, but it might be not this Sunday, but next Sunday. I'm going to have a chat with Phil and probably come up with a date because there's no rush to do it, as he's told me, but I would like to make it as good as possible rather than rushing it out and then not quite putting in as much as I wanted to, or not making it as good as I can, or as good as I can make it. So it might be this Sunday, most likely next Sunday. I'll keep you guys in the loop. So that's what I've been working on, and I'm trying to find a little bit of time. Obviously, I'm keeping up the schedule for the videos as normal, so it means that we're live streaming tonight, of course. We're going to be doing a video tomorrow night and Friday night, live streaming Saturday, and then a video on Sunday if I haven't edited it all together by then. But anyway, that's how that's going. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen so that you can see who are responsible for me being able to do this in the first place. I don't know why sometimes when I start this roll at the bottom of the screen, it doesn't start with the sponsored by, but it now has started with the sponsored by, so it means all of the names will come up in order, which is great. And let me get the likes goal up on screen. Tonight is 310, so as you come through the door, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be massively appreciated. We're getting up to over the 300s now, so some huge targets going on, and we need every single thumbs up in order to hit the targets to have a pick roulette the next week of that particular live stream. So if we hit the target tonight, it means that next Tuesday we will have a pick roulette. So I can see that there have been some donations that have come through, and I am going to just refresh my screen just to make sure that I pick up the ones that came through before we went live, because as you guys know, they disappear as soon as we go live, which is very annoying. But I do address every single donation, even the donations between the live streams, and there have been a few of those as well. But I'm just waiting for my screen to actually refresh. Anyway, hopefully this is coming across okay and it's not jumpy and that you've got the sound. I always assume that it's working, so fingers crossed it is working, and it looks like people are just talking as normal in the live chat room, so I will continue to talk and see just how things go with the live stream as we progress. Anyway, let me get the donations tab up on screen as well, just so you get a lay of the land. 35 to 45% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and if you do it through PayPal, 3 to 5% goes to PayPal, and you'll be able to find that link in the description below. If you feel like you want to donate, you don't have to donate, of course, but if you can't resist, then the link is in the description below, or you can do it in the live chat room, however you want to do it. So it looks like on my screen the refresh button isn't actually doing anything. It's saying that it's loading, but it's not actually loading. So here we go. It's now done it. So it was Orlando who donated first of all, so thank you for that, Orlando. Let's have a plug of the mug. As always, whenever we get a donation early doors from Orlando, that's what we do. And you can click on the tray underneath this video for the merchandise, the hoodies, the mugs, all that kind of stuff. And there are different designs of mugs. If you want to pick up like a necklace or guitar picks, you can head over to wingsofpegasus.com for all that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you for that donation, Orlando. The message was, I am the 42nd spike of the likes. Spike the likes. A great idea there from Orlando. And that's something that I forgot last time, was to get the live likes up on screen. I did it about 1 a.m, about an hour into the live stream. So here we are. We are now live with the likes as well. 172 so far. Keep on hitting that thumbs up. It'd be much appreciated. Helps the channel to get out there a bit more and to grow. Speaking of growing, and I'm just going to mention about a donation that came in on PayPal. First of all, Kelly, who very kindly donated through PayPal. Thank you for that, Kelly. She said, for whatever you need. So thank you for that, Kelly. A very kind donation over on PayPal. And there was another one that came through from Lynn, another very kind donation. And Lynn sent through a message saying, celebrating 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 subscribers when that nice consecutive number shows up. Onward with the rocking. So thank you for that, Lynn. And this was a total that I have been looking out for today, but I missed it. It happened too quickly. I think earlier today it was maybe 200 or 300, and obviously I was waiting for the what was I waiting for? The 2, 3, 4, the 5, 6, 7 is what I was waiting for, and it was at about 300, and then it was 400 and something, and then I tried to keep track of it, and then I thought, well, by the time I come to do the live stream, I'll check before that, and we might hit it in the live stream, but I think I've already missed it. So I didn't get that screenshot, but what I am going to do is show the number up on screen in this live stream, and then what I'll do is take a screenshot of it somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I haven't really thought this through, but I'll take a screenshot of it, and let me look at the time so I have a reference for later on. It's 12 minutes past 12, so 12 minutes past midnight here in the UK. I'm now going to show the number. I'm going to screen capture it and then upload it to Instagram. I'd never do anything on Instagram, so it's a good excuse to show a picture up on Instagram. So let's get this up on screen, and there it is. So I can't even point directly over the top of it. So there it is, 234,567 subscribers. So thank you everybody for subscribing. Bit of a weird celebration number that we've got going on, but I do believe we have hit that and we have passed it. Imagine if we haven't hit that and we're actually still waiting. So maybe we can have a bit of a reference, or maybe an update as to what the number's at the moment in the live chat room, because I'm sure earlier I did miss it. Hopefully I'm not missing it now as it goes past, because I could get that actual screenshot of my channel. Anyway, I like it when things just go in order. Whenever the likes seem to be like 234 likes in the live streams, it always seems to pop out for some reason from the side of the screen. I don't know why, but anyway, I'll take a screenshot of that and look out for that on Instagram. Wings of Pegasus Official is what the Instagram account is, but like I said, I don't really use it too much. And there is something that I do find a little bit annoying about people's channels. Sometimes when you're watching a video, and the first thing they do is reel off all of their social media pages, and it's nothing to do with the video that you're watching, or at least the title of that you're watching, or the thumbnail. They just go through endless, crowdfunding as well. They mentioned that, and do all of their self-promotion. I think, oh, well, and I mean, I usually just end the video after that, because I think, I spent about a minute linking to everything possible, whereas I just want to watch the video. Or, I think that's a big thing on YouTube, is having either a thumbnail that's been manufactured to make you click on it, or to have a title that is just nothing to do with the video, or if it is to do with the video, they get to about 10 minutes into the video. So this is why I make a very conscious effort on my videos to introduce what the video's about, then have the little introduction animation, and then we get into the video and I say, if you do like it, like and subscribe, but that's just if you like the video, and then we just get straight into it. So yeah, something that is a bit frustrating, but I think this is probably the first time I've ever mentioned my Instagram, just because I don't really use it that much, but I am over there very occasionally, as you will see when I grab that screenshot and upload it there. I did upload a picture recently with Phil on Instagram and Patreon, so you'll be able to see those up there. Anyway, let's move forward with the live stream. Everything is going to be hopefully going as normal, and we won't get any gremlins in the works, but we're going to be having our pick roulette later, easy for me to say, and we're going to have a couple of pictures as well, just go through the normal process and just do our usual meeting on a Tuesday night to see what happens. It's always eventful, but I think recently I have been getting away with it. Now that I've said that, I put the kiss of death on it. Anyway, we've got the vote going for tonight's cover video. So it's between Don't Slow Down and Behind Blue Eyes. Those are the two options for tonight. So click on whichever you want. And on my screen it says Behind Blue Eyes has 68% of the vote so far. So it is quite in the lead. I'm not sure whether Don't Slow Down is going to be able to turn the tables in that vote, but make sure you have your vote so that you have, obviously, a greater chance of seeing the song that you want to see for tonight. So that's going on in the live chat room. We are spiking the likes, I can see 212 so far. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up and just for watching the videos in general. Just quickly, I'll do the super chat donations that came in before we went live, because Jennifer donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message is, it is raining. Yeah, Phil. Hope the wrist is getting better. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And the wrist isn't too bad. I'm cycling, having the support on and then off. There are very particular movements where I'll feel a little twinge, and yeah, it seems to be at a very particular point, an angle that my wrist will let me know that it's still not 100%, but it's getting pretty close. And this was the thing that it was a little bit frustrating when I was speaking with Phil, because he did get his guitar out at the end and was playing through a few things, and it was so tempting because I was watching his technique and actually pointing out to him that he was using his second finger quite prominently on the right hand, and it's the kind of thing that he didn't know that he was doing. So it was interesting to be able to point that out to him about his technique, that he didn't realize he was doing something. But anyway, it was so tempting to pick up the guitar and kind of play along and just have a jam or something, but I knew that I had to be disciplined and not pick up the guitar and just let the wrist heal, because the more disciplined I am now, I know then it means that I'm going to be able to play for a lot longer in the future without having to go back to wearing a support and all that kind of stuff. But yes, just one of those things. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And M has donated $20 as well. Thank you for that, M. The message is super great. Choose. So thank you for that. Tuesday. Thank you for that, M. Jennifer donated again, and $5. Thank you for that. The message is, Phil, great question. Is being shirtless against the law in London? Did you need a kind of permit in order to shoot that video? So no, it's not. Yeah, you can be shirtless if you want to be in London. I don't think it's a wise choice, especially when I did that video, because it's getting towards the end of the year and getting into winter time, and it was raining, so it was very cold. So that's why most people wouldn't be shirtless. Actually, that's an interesting point about if it's illegal. I know that it's not illegal for guys, because I'm a guy and there were police there and they just got into it. They didn't mind at all. But I don't know if the laws were different for females. I mean, you think, well, it shouldn't be, really. But it's one of those things that society and views of society and, yeah, men and women, I don't know. I can only say for men, I know it's not illegal, but I don't know if it's illegal for women. Interesting thing to look up, because if it is, then you can argue, well, why is that? I don't know. Something to look into. Not for me to look into now on the live stream, but certainly something you guys can look into in different countries. Maybe it changes from one country to the next. And yeah, if you want to be topless, it's absolutely fine. I would assume that in hotter countries, it can't be illegal. I guess it's all... Well, I say it can't be illegal, but thinking about other countries who have specific belief systems, and I know for a fact, like in Afghanistan and places like that, where it's part of their religion that women have to be covered, or they have to cover their face, or it's something that they believe in or that they follow. And yeah, in that case, it is really hot there, and they still have to cover up. And I think pretty much the guys can do what they want. I don't know. I'm just going from what's reported on the news here in the UK. Anyway, let's move on. And away from that, it's not against the law here in the UK, to my knowledge. So, thank you for that, Jennifer. I think that was... it was bringing us up to date in the Super Chat window. So, thank you for that. And Robert has donated $100 in the Super Chat window. So, thank you guys for all of the donations, and that very kind one from Robert. And the message was, good to see you all. So thank you for that, Robert. Everyone say hello to Robert in that live chat room. Big shout out to the moderators as always. You'll see their names going through the live chat room. Their names will be in blue, and they have a wrench next to their names as well. So thank you, moderators, for doing such a fantastic job throughout these live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday, and keeping it such a great place to be. Let me just plug the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, because you can join in with that if you want to as well, and that's where a lot of these lovely people hang out between the live streams. Just mentioning quickly, I did a message, or at least did a reply on one of the posts over on Facebook before I went live, because Tammy ordered a CD, and I get lots of CD orders, and I do try and get them sent out as soon as possible. So with the CDs, if they're going over to the USA or Canada, I think it's about 2 weeks. So that's the amount of time it spends to kind of, or it takes to get over there. That's how long it spends going from one country to the next. But I do try and get to those as quickly as possible, and I know that over on Facebook, Tammy did mention that it took almost 4 weeks for hers to arrive, but I did mention to Tammy that she ordered it late on a Friday night, and I sent it off on the following Monday. I mean, that's as quickly as I can do it when they come in late on Friday night, but I sent it off on Monday, and it's actually taken, I think, about 13 days to get there. So I do pride myself on getting the orders out as quickly as humanly possible from here in the studio, and actually going out to the post office and waiting for them to open up on Monday, over the weekend's orders, putting them over and getting them sent out on Monday. So I did do it as soon as possible, and it was 13 days. So I did say to Tammy it would take about 2 weeks, and it's not 4 weeks. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people understood that it usually takes about 2 weeks. If it's 4 weeks, then yeah, there's probably something that's gone wrong. But like I said, I do pride myself on that. So when I was reading that Tammy was saying it was 4 weeks, it definitely wasn't. It was about 13 days, which is under 2 weeks. But anyway, thank you for the CD orders, and we do have a couple of pictures to look at tonight, so we'll be checking those out. And let me just go into that super chat window, because we have our support band Stardust Unicorn in the house, who has donated $5 with the guy celebrating blowing the party blower thing. So thank you for that, Stardust Unicorn. And I am just going to pop over to PayPal in order to get up to date with those, because I did address the two that came in before we went live. Actually, that happened between live streams. We had another one that came in at 47 minutes past 6 this morning from Johanna, or Johanna, if that's how you pronounce it, for £30. So thank you so much for that. Let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. And I'm just going to scroll down because it was a straight up donation. So thank you so much for that. Very kind donation. And we had another one that came in from Roderick. And Roderick, I usually send an email to, but here because it's happened just before the live stream. I haven't had a chance to do that, but thank you, Roderick, for your donation as well. And it doesn't say how much it was, but I think it just says you received a payment, but it's £3. So thank you for that, Roderick. And let me just try and get everything up to date because we're not quite up to date in the PayPal window, but here we go. And I think we're pretty much now getting up to date, and it is Steve, yes, who donated at 4 minutes past midnight, so 4 minutes into the live stream. Thank you for this, Steve, and it was for £5. I'm just going to scroll down because Steve says, are there things from the analog corded day that you miss that you think were better than the digital cordless days? So thank you for that, Steve. And this is an interesting question, again, something I could talk about for probably years, but I'll try and keep it as short as possible. In terms of talking about analog, I mean, when I was starting to get into production and recording songs myself, I was probably 18 or 19 years of age. I had Cubase SX, so it meant that I was already part of the digital movement. It had already got to the point where I was using a PC to record. Before that, my dad had a 4-track tape recorder which just had a standard tape in there, and obviously it's just 4 tracks. So if you wanted to record anything more than 4 tracks, you had to get it on the tape and submit it to tape and then overdub. So obviously the quality of the tape could then diminish if you keep on writing over the same part of the tape over and over again. So I didn't have a lot of exposure to recording just with analog techniques and getting into that. Obviously I know a bit about it, but I don't have anything really that I had enough experience to then miss about doing that, because I just went straight into digital recording through Cubase SX and then moved on to... I'm not sure whether I think I stayed with Cubase for probably my early 20s, and then mid 20s moved over to Mac and Logic Pro 10, and then you get GarageBand on that as well. But Logic Pro, well, not Logic Pro 10, but I think Logic Pro 8 was the first that I had, and then now I've got Logic Pro 10 on this Mac Pro, which is 2013. So yeah, still quite old, but it's still going all right. So I can't really say that. I'm sure there are producers who very much struggled with that change from analog to digital, because I mean it's something that happened really probably late 70s into the 80s, where things started to move in that digital way, starting to be able to store things on floppy disk drives, and then the drives became more powerful. You could just store more information on it, so things started to move in that direction. But yeah, it's now down to the sound of analog and tape and the sound of digital, and the fact that it's not being written to tape anymore, it's being written to hard disk, so it's effectively lossless, which means that you don't get that colour or that personality to the sound that you used to do on tape. And I'm sure that a lot of people that recorded on tape and were so used to that particular quality, and I guess it's an overall sound. It would be effectively like EQing a digital recording with tape so that it had the same warmth to it. But a lot of people who use those analog techniques and recorded on tape will say that you can't really simulate, or you can't imitate what that was. And it might be the case that it's not possible, even though I'm sure there are plugins that are trying to do that and have tried to do that. So yeah, not something that I've missed personally, because I was probably just a bit late getting into the production as to when I was born. So into the 90s was when I would have started doing it. But certainly I'm sure there were a lot of producers who were used to it in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s when it all started to come along. They might have felt, we don't like this digital movement, but they would have had to have made that transition because record labels went digital, because it obviously is so much cheaper to record without tape and so much quicker as well. And the fact that you can now just redo a take by literally pressing the space bar on your keyboard, and then pressing the star on your keyboard. Actually, if you want to get rid of the take, you can just press spacebar, then backspace, that'll delete it, and then press the star again, and it'll start your loop up again, and you can repeat the take again and record a new one. So yeah, think of that compared to actually using physical tape, that you've now got that on your tape, so you'd have to use another bit of tape, or you'd have to try and record over the top of the tape that you've already, and it just gets really messy. And then as for editing, you can now drag things where you want. It just is so much more straightforward and conducive to making music more quickly, which is why record labels are, I mean, they do that now by applying auto-tune and pitch correction, as we've spoken about quite a lot. It makes financial sense for record labels. If a vocal take wasn't accurate pitch-wise, rather than them doing again, they just add auto-tune and they can just move on to the next artist, to the next recording. And they don't really care about, unfortunately, the quality of that vocal, whether it's going to connect with an audience or not. They just want to snap it to lines and then get the next artist in. So it tends to be the case in the music industry at the moment, unfortunately and sadly, in my opinion. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. I'm just going to scroll up because David has donated £7.06. So thank you for that, David. And the message is, here's to Wings, my friend. So thank you for that, David. And for the donations, you guys, is much appreciated. They do make a huge difference to what I can do on the channel, and being able to buy the cameras for the interview that I've just done, and just having the time to spend on editing, making videos, and just everything that I do on the channel. So thank you guys so much. And you patrons at the bottom of the screen, you know who you are. I'm just going to scroll up because Ian's in the house and has donated £10. Thank you for that, Ian. And Ian is one of our resident musicians as well, who's got videos on YouTube. He's constantly working on different things. So thank you for this, Ian, and for watching tonight. And the message is, keep rocking, Phil. So thank you for that, Ian. And like I always say, it's great to have such a wide demographic of viewers on the channel, with recreational musicians, professional musicians, just music fans in general, and just fans of particular artists, but then people who watch the analysis videos on lots of different artists. So thank you guys for watching all of the videos, and yeah, it's great to be able to talk with all of you in these live settings on the live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday. So, we are going to be moving forward with the live stream. It looks like Behind Blue Eyes still has 68% of the vote, so we could be going in that direction very soon. It's already 32 minutes past midnight, so we've over half an hour into it. We try and, or at least I try and be quite disciplined with the live streams finishing at about 1:15, because I have a lot of things to do afterwards, especially with the editing now that I'm trying to do, which will probably most likely take me all of this week, and maybe next week. I'll let you guys know over on Patreon. By the way, if you want to get involved over on Patreon yourselves, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, because that's where I am every night. I always do an update, even when I'm not on YouTube. Every night I'm going to be on Patreon. I am on Patreon, just doing my updates to my patrons. And as I always say, that is the foundation of everything I do, and I will be over there for the rest of time, even if YouTube stopped being a thing, which fingers crossed it won't be. Or it won't stop being a thing, and it will be a thing. But if it isn't, that's where I'll be over on Patreon, doing everything that I do, with probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, interviews in the future as well. I know that the one with Phil Palmer is one that just kind of popped out and popped up, so we just did that, and it'll be interesting to see if that can happen more in the future, and maybe I can get more musicians in here if they are over in London for any length of time, and they might have a bit of space between their gigs, they might be able to pop in here and we can have a chat and then post the video up here on YouTube, but they will be on Patreon, like I said. But let me get rid of that. This is the other thing, that if you want to get notified for every video, make sure you do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any analysis videos or live streams or interview videos if I do have more of those in the future. That is how to stay in the loop all the time. Click on that subscribe button. So anyway, let me just pop into that PayPal window because there's been another donation in there. And Orlando has donated £3.90. Again, thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, I often read bands like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and even Steppenwolf are credited with ushering in the era of heavy metal. I agree. For the record, what is your take? So thank you for that, Orlando. And I mean, yes, definitely. I think that a lot of people who are into metal, heavy metal, I'm more into hard rock, but it doesn't mean that I don't listen to metal bands and the kind of bands that have that crossover appeal to an extent. You can argue Iron Maiden, you know, having that kind of approach of having a lead vocal that still has harmony vocals in. There's a hell of a lot of melodic content in a lot of heavy metal. And I think that what people think, the reason I do that, is that nowadays a lot of people associate heavy metal with genres that are a lot heavier than metal and heavy metal used to be. You know, back in the day, you would get a lead vocal that, the other thing to point out, has a lot of, you know, vocal technique, classical singing techniques. You know, you've got breath support, you've got vibrato, you've got wide vibrato, you've got control, you're hitting pitches, you've got dynamics. There's a lot in heavy metal vocals. I mean, Dio, I mean, just look. He was a fantastic example of a guy who put on such a great show. But when you're looking at his vocal ability, so much classical technique in there, so it might fly under the radar of a lot of people that that's just part of the great singers in the heavier genres. But anyway, going back to Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Steppenwolf, as you say, Orlando, I would say that even Van Halen, to a certain extent, in the late 70s, a lot of people kind of forget that Van Halen was doing all of that stuff in the mid to late 70s. So it's still quite early on. And going even further back than that, you know, if you're talking about the roots of having heavier genres and having that heavier sound coming in, even towards the late 60s, early 70s, we're talking about now using distortion and starting to push the boundaries of distortion as well. So that you've got guys like Alice Cooper, for example, who had a sound of music, and I know that it was kind of more along that kind of, you know, shock rock and pushing the boundaries of imagery as well. But if you're listening to the sound, again, I mean, we're talking about literally late 60s, early 70s, that all that kind of stuff was starting to kick off. So, you know, going back that far, definitely, that is just laying that whole foundation for then later heavy metal. And I think a lot of people think that, you know, heavy metal and metal music was something that was only happening in the 80s, or only started in the 80s. But I think I agree with you and agree with a lot of people that think that I think really the foundations were set in the 70s. And if you know where to look, a lot of 70s bands, if they had, I think, more distortion, they would have been even heavier than they were. But it's just the technology at the time wasn't really, really heavy. They were just finding a way to try and get as distorted a sound as they could, as much attitude as they could through their amps and, through their guitars. But I would certainly agree with that. But anyway, Orlando, thank you so much for that donation. Again, I probably talked for a little bit too long on that particular question, but thank you for that. I try and keep them as concise as possible, but I always say I can talk about that kind of thing for years, especially the history of music and styles of music and where it all comes from. And going all the way back to the blues players, and the fact that the British invasion in the 60s was actually English musicians listening to American blues artists from way back in the day, and all they were doing was being influenced by that and then coming up with their own take on that and then taking it over to the USA. So the music was already in the USA, but it was then taken back to the USA into the mainstream, so now everyone got an appreciation of that. And ironically, because of the bands that were influenced by the old school blues players, they would then check out the old school blues players again, or they didn't know them in the first place, but they would because of the British invasion, who were influenced by, the great blues players and, bands like Rolling Stones, who made no secret of the fact, of the players that they were influenced by and the music that influenced them. But anyway, thank you for the donations tonight and the questions. Like I said, I almost started again talking about all of the history of music, but we won't do that, even though it is fascinating. But thank you, Carla, as well, who has donated £5 and 7 pence, and that is a straight up donation through the PayPal window as well. So thank you for that. And Orlando's donated $2 as well. It's just popped in there and says, your insight is appreciated. Thank you, my friend. So no problem, Orlando. Thank you for that question. So let's have a little eye on, or keep an eye on, first of all, the time. It's 20 to 1 already, but the vote for tonight, which is at 69% now for Behind Blue Eyes. So what I might do, I'm not sure when we usually play the cover, but what I might do is leave that for a little bit more time so that you guys have a chance to vote. But it looks like Behind Blue Eyes might be taking the cover vote for tonight. So if you want to watch Don't Slow Down, I think that was the other song, then make sure you click on that one, but it might just be too late. Or if you just really want to hear my version of Behind Blue Eyes, then just keep on clicking on that and we'll see where it ends up. Anyway, by the way, hit that thumbs up as you come through the door if you have just entered the live stream. If this is your first live stream, hello to you. Introduce yourself to the live chat room and everyone will say hello to you. That's how we just start with these live streams. We did start with just a few people and we've just gradually increased in our number, but it's great that we get to see everybody's usernames. And when I'm looking at the screen during these live streams, I am looking into the live chat room. I'm always kind of keeping an eye on there as much as possible as to see what's going on, just in case something pops up. I think when I'm tagged in something, it's either got a yellow line or something, so the comment does pop out a little bit more, but I can see you guys in there. We've got Jennifer and Dwayne and Bob in the house as well, and Tortoro Porco, Richard in the house, and Sam and Walter and Dave, and you guys in there. And I believe that's a Russian name that I wouldn't even know how to pronounce, even if I knew what the letters were. But amazing to see you guys in the live chat room from all over the place. It's great that we can all just get together. It's actually amazing and something that blows my mind, but also it makes me think that, this is something I've mentioned before, the technology that we've got at the moment. I'm speaking into a microphone just outside London in England, and people are watching this all over the world. It might be, in Russia, it might be in the USA, it might be in Canada, it might be in Europe. And I know that there are a few people that do stay up late in the UK to watch as well. So thank you guys for doing that, because it's 1:45 in the morning here, but just all over the place, and Brazil as well. So yeah, it's amazing that I can be doing this, but then somehow the internet, when you're using Wi-Fi, is in the air. And this is something that I haven't fully understood about how it works. With wired connections, I guess this is going back to analog and using tape effectively in the studios. With that, it's understandable how that works. The fact that you can travel or make information travel down a wire in the same way that telephone lines, when we speak to each other, that was carrying the audio information from one end of the line to the other. So it meant that that piece of wire could take information. And then they realized we can actually squeeze even more information through this. And that's where the whole broadband broadband internet came from, was they're squeezing through that wire as much information as possible. And then we found out that that was, I don't know, maybe 30 odd megabytes a second. I think that's what I get, or maybe 36 megabits a second, because megabytes are different. You get a different amount of megabytes. I think you have to divide the megabits by 8 to get the megabytes. But everyone always says megabits because it sounds more impressive, but megabytes is, a lot less. Anyway, it means I think you're getting, about 8 megabytes or something like that through broadband. Anyway, I could understand how that works. What I don't understand is Wi-Fi and how you get a wired connection in the air. And this is another thing that people don't realize, is that the internet is connected one country to the next. So they've got wires running underneath the ocean that actually connect the countries. So this is why you can connect to me in the UK. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate this, that there are ships that are ready to go out, and if for some reason the connection is severed from one country to the next, ships are on call, and there are teams on call that go out to exactly where that line is in the sea to go down and repair it as soon as possible. I don't think it's something that happens regularly, because then we'd lose the internet from one country to the next. But it's amazing to think that as much as we think about Wi-Fi and the technology, that when you just go back to the fundamental technology, is still connected via a wire from me here in the UK to you guys in the USA. What does blow my mind is the speed that the information has to travel for me to get over to those different countries in literally a split second. Like when you when you spend almost, but when you send a message from the UK to the USA on WhatsApp, it looks like it goes instantly. How does that happen? Anyway, like I've said before, it's aliens. It's the alien technology. It's got to be, because I don't understand it, how that can work. And the great thing is that everyone, especially like the younger generation, my nephews, for example, they don't know anything about how this is all working. They just accept that it works. So for all they know, it could be aliens that are giving us this technology, but we don't question it. We just go, oh yeah, Wi-Fi. I've got Wi-Fi. Yeah, but what is it? I don't know, but it works. So I don't question it. Anyway, interesting stuff. Again, I could talk about that kind of thing for years. And again, I have mentioned about alien technology on the live streams before, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but the more technology moves along, I think the less tongue-in-cheek it becomes, especially in the UK recently. We've had so many shows on aliens and the fact that the government have now said, oh yeah, aliens do exist, and they've released all of the evidence or all of the reports that were classified, and they came out like a year ago or maybe longer than that. But we're getting a lot of UFO documentaries and things. So maybe it's just accepted that they do exist, and this is why the technology is moving along like it is. I'm sure if you showed somebody back in the 60s, if you just flew a drone and made it look like a spaceship, they would say that that's a spaceship. But no, it's technology that we now have that you can buy for like £30 or £40. You can buy a drone that just hovers and it moves around. It's amazing. Anyway, let's not get into that, because I'll be talking for ages. Motown Girl 22 says, Wings of Pegasus, the line UK to USA is via fibre optic cable. So thank you for that. But again, fibre optic cable, I don't fully understand how that works or how it's so fast. Obviously, I know it's that fast, but the technology behind, I think fibre optics is just one of those kind of buzzwords that's used to describe the technology. But what actually is it? But obviously, you need somebody to explain it, or I would need somebody to explain it. I might go and look this up afterwards. It's something that I like finding out about technology and how it works. And I think for me, the Wi-Fi thing is something that I do find interesting, how you can send information through space that I don't quite understand that yet. 3G, that then turned into 4G and then turned into 5G. What does all that mean? But I know that it means it's more powerful and it goes more quickly with the transferring of data, but yeah, the technology is just over my head. But this is another thing. My channel isn't going to turn into an alien investigation channel, but I would certainly be interested to talk on channels like that just to see what these people have found out, who are very much more investigative than I am, to find out all of the stuff, because I'm sure there's lots of really interesting things that have been found out about the technology and the things that do exist that we might not necessarily understand I mean, that is something I was going to say in the general population, but that's something that I do find interesting, that people who don't believe aliens exist. But for me, that is the height of irony to say that other life doesn't exist, saying that, knowing that we exist and we are life and we're in the universe. So if we exist, then surely we are proving the point that life does exist in the universe. So how can people say that they believe that life doesn't exist elsewhere? Because we are proving that incorrect. Anyway, that's just the way that I see it. I'm sure this is something that we could talk about for years, but not on this live stream, because this is about music. Talking of music, we will get into music, and the vote for tonight, it is looking like it's going to be Behind Blue Eyes. Let me just end that poll in the live chat room, and I'll wait for confirmation to see if it does come through. And I can see me getting tagged here. Kimberly says, are you saying that it's faster than the speed of sound? I had no idea. So thank you for that. And yes, it has to be faster than the speed of sound, a fiber optic cable. Lisa, you should watch some, what did that say, episodes of Ancient Aliens? Was that I was trying to rely on my my photographic memory that I don't have. But I don't know, if you close your eyes really quickly, can you still see the words that you're reading? Because I can do that. It only lasts for a few seconds, but I don't know if that's a normal thing, but I can do that. So that's why sometimes I close my eyes and I can see the comment that's now disappeared. But anyway, no, I haven't seen Ancient Aliens. I think I might have seen little parts of it, but I've never watched. I know that it's a documentary. I think it is available on Sky, but I haven't watched that or the whole series of that. But from what I understood, or what I saw in a particular episode, was the fact that they were saying that I think it's the pyramids or Aztecs were kind of drawing images of aliens or things that look like aliens. And certainly that is interesting. And when you think about the pyramids and the fact that that was, 3,000 or 4,000 years ago? I'm not sure of my history, how long ago it was, even though I did go to a Tutankhamun, I don't know how to say it, but I went to an exhibition that was about the prince, the king, the very young. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think it was in that kind of era that they were also talking about the picture where they had the aliens on the wall. So yeah, I went to an exhibition. I mean, fascinating stuff to think that you're looking at things that were made so long ago, and the technology, but the appreciation that they had, the way that they built their monuments and things in relation to the universe. It wasn't just randomly on Earth. They did it at particular angles so that the light hit at this time, or a particular time of the year. It would always hit at the same point to then draw a shadow on another part of the monument or something that they were building. So yeah, fascinating stuff. And this is the other thing that I think a flaw in humankind, especially now, is that humans think that they know everything, or they think that what they know is that there's all to know, or that they know everything that can possibly be known. Whereas I think, yeah, potentially, if you imagine humans in 5 million years' time, how much more advanced we'll be. If you think about a potential another planet where there's a civilization that weren't wiped out, or aren't or haven't just been allowed onto the planet in the last kind of few thousand years. If you think about a civilization that have been around for millions of years, then millions of years, you could cover quite a lot in terms of learning. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, somewhere, a civilization has worked out this whole time-space continuum thing and it's just popping over here to visit now and again. Anyway, as I said, we'll get into music, but interesting, as you can tell, I do find this kind of stuff really interesting. But thank you, Kimberly, for that donation of $9.99, and the message is, thank you for your content. Hello from Boston, Massachusetts. I think that's probably the song that the Bee Gees weren't allowed to release. But anyway, Kimberly, thank you for that. Massachusetts. Is that it? How you say it? I'm not even sure how you pronounce it. But anyway, thank you for that. I'm just going to say Boston. If that's even the right place. Am I making up places here? I might even be making up places. But thank you for that donation. And I'm going to be moving on. I ended the poll, and then we haven't even listened to the cover video. So thank you guys for voting for this one. We're going to jump into it now. It's my cover of Behind Blue Eyes. I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance, it's never free.
Hello, Phil here. Thank you so much for watching my cover of Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. I hope you enjoyed it. The names that you can see going up the screen here are the names of my patrons, who I'd like to say a massive thank you to for their support and for making videos like this possible, and for making all my videos possible on YouTube. So thank you guys, your support is massively appreciated. If you want to join me and the gang over on Patreon, head to the link below, the little square link, click on that and that will take you through to the site. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock! And there we have it. That was my version of the classic by The Who, Behind Blue Eyes. Anyway, I'm going to have another attempt at saying Boston, Massachusetts. It sits. That's the end part, the S-I-T-S. If I think of it like that, Massachusetts, then I can maybe say it a little bit better. But anyway, that's that ticked off. And at least now I've got a mental reference point as to how to pronounce it, rather than just putting the letters into my brain and then it just coming out with what it thinks it is. So anyway, I can apply a little bit more brain now when saying that particular place in Boston. Anyway, thank you, Kimberly, for that donation. And just going to be jumping into that PayPal window because we have had another donation in there. So let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. And it is from Steve again. And it's £1. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, can I suggest we need to go back to Link Ray and a couple of others, then the MC5 Stooges, to The Who and Zeppelin. So thank you for that, Steve. And this is it. I'm sure that in the future we are going to be covering a lot of bands and artists again. I just kind of work through the suggestions, the requests that I get in the comment section. At the moment, yeah, I think the problem is when there's a video that is requested that is a guitarist or has a prominent piece of guitar in the video and the performance, for me, it's really frustrating, and it kind of makes it worse that I can't play when I'm looking at guitarists and I want to show what that guitarist is doing or want to play in order to demonstrate, because I think demonstrating is such a huge part of teaching so that people understand what's going on. So yeah, looking at guitarists, again, I'm just kind of waiting for the wrist to be fully okay. I think it's probably going to be close within maybe a week, 2 weeks maybe. So yeah, we will see. It does feel like it's getting better. It's just very particular angles, like I said before, where I feel a little bit of a twinge. But I mean, it might be okay that, you know, playing the guitar might not tweak it or make me feel those twinges. So I will get back to playing guitar, definitely. I know that we've been focusing on vocals for a little while now, but we will be getting back to the guitar, and I still will be focusing on vocals. Don't worry that, you know, the vocals are going to stop. We're still going to be analysing and using, you know, pitch monitoring software, all that kind of stuff, because if anything, not being able to play the guitar has helped me to expand on what we can do with a vocal, you know, listening to isolated vocals and looking at the pitch monitoring software, which I think does help a lot of people get an appreciation of somebody's voice on a deeper level, because they can see it rather than hearing it. Because I think a lot of people will struggle to turn what I'm saying into something that's understandable because they can't see what I'm talking about. So it's great to be able to talk about things that we can now see on a graph. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. And Mary has donated £2.34. Thank you for that, Mary. And the message is numbers with a smiley face. So thank you for that. And it is 345 likes. I'm not sure whether that's what you're referring to, Mary, but thank you for that. The 345 and the 234, or the 234 567. We've got 345 likes. That just happened to be, I think, maybe the 234. Obviously, now with hindsight, is what Mary was referring to with the subscribers, but it just so happened it's 345 at exactly the same time. So what are the odds of that happening? Thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. We have hit our Pick Roulette likes goal for tonight. We are going to be jumping into the pictures. Let me just jump into That PayPal donation again. Carl donated £2. Thank you for that, Carl, and says, testing PayPal, so it does work. Thank you for that, Carl, for that test. And David has sent me a money request, so thank you for this, David. And this is when you click on request rather than send in the PayPal window. So thank you for attempting to donate. It is much appreciated, but you've requested some money. The message is, really appreciate what you bring to my musical understanding. Dave from Tennessee. So thank you for that, David, for the message. And David's donated straight after that saying, and £7.06. Thank you for that. David says, oops, I actually sent a request via PayPal instead of donation. So embarrassed. Got it fixed. Love your channel, Phil. Dave from Tennessee. So don't worry about that, Dave. It's happened many times before, and it's especially with buttons being close together. Sometimes, I don't know if everybody gets this. They must get this. But when you have a tablet or a phone and the page is loading, and what you want to press, say there's like yes or no or okay and cancel is on the screen, and you're just about to press it, but you don't know that the page hasn't fully loaded yet. So as soon as you go to press it, the page loads and the options move, and you now click on something or you press on something that's like an advert, which is now loading up the link that you've clicked on, and you're going to another site, and then you have to go back. And if you are filling out a form or something, it says, you know, server timed out, please re-enter your information, and then you have to go back and do it all over again. That's one thing that does annoy me about, you know, having touch screens, is that in that split second you're about to press something, it will move, and yeah, and then you spend another 5 minutes trying to sort it out. But anyway, thank you, Sue, for this donation of £15. That is a straight up donation. And Steve has donated £1 as well. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, sorry, I was referring to the heavy pre-metal sounds. So thank you for that, Steve. And just scrolling up, I'm trying to remember what that was a while ago. We had the question about analog and digital. I'm trying to remember the questions. Was it Orlando that asked about heavy metal? Anyway, I know that I was talking about things for a long time, so I've kind of lost track of where I was with answering the questions. But whatever was being referred to by Steve, he was referring to the heavy pre-metal sounds. So thank you for that, Steve. Scrolling up, Suzanne has donated £14 and 11 pence. Thank you for that, Suzanne. And the message is, love your channel. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching in the first place. And everyone for tuning in to these live streams and just, you know, hitting that thumbs up, which you can still do, by the way. It helps the channel to grow, to get out there a little bit more, especially these live streams, to get a few more people joining in and joining the live chat room, becoming part of the fun here. So thank you everyone for joining in with these, but also commenting on the channel and just interacting with the videos. It is massively appreciated. Right, let's jump into a few pictures that we've had. Actually, just a couple of pictures tonight. Let me get the background up on screen so that we can have a look at. I think it's just Diane's pictures that we've got tonight. The first one is going to be the signed CD, Wings of Pegasus signed CD, of course, which I send out from here. So thank you for sending that or uploading that, Diane. And there's another one that's got the front of the CD there with my message written out in pen. It's quite difficult to write neatly on the cover of the CD, because when I am doing it, it's generally on my lap and I have the envelope that I'm writing out at the same time as well. So yeah, it's quite difficult to do it, but I just about make it so that it's clear enough to read. But thank you for that, Diane, for uploading that. And oh, thank you to Vince for linking me to the pictures as well over on Facebook. If you guys want to upload your pictures of a CD or any merchandise, that kind of stuff, head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group on Facebook, and Vince hosts the after party after the live streams, so you can get involved with those as well when we finish over here on YouTube. So let me jump forward into, I think we're ready for a pick roulette, and then we'll open up the entries for next week's pick roulette because, of course, we have reached our target of likes. So that is fantastic news. Let's jump into this, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! So let's get the wheel up on screen, and there it is. If this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments here are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, then we have a t-shirt roulette, and somebody goes away with a signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt that's custom made. And if we don't land on one of those, we will land on a name, and it means that they'll be picking up the Wings of Pegasus signed pick, which is in the middle of the wheel. So I haven't picked a top tip, and I almost forgot to do it. So, oh no, I just hit the mouse, so we scrolled. We're back. I'm going to choose Robert M as the top tip for tonight. So, Robert M, I've written that down. Let's give it a spin and see who is going to win. And more importantly, let's see if I can maintain my 0% winning streak of picking consecutive top tips winners. I was going to consecutive losers. If I'm losing consistently as I am, I'm on one hell of a consecutive run of losing, because I've never won. Anyway, here we go. We're slowing down. There goes Sandy and Mel and Patty, and the t-shirt just goes past. Are we getting as far as Steve? Maybe Rich, or maybe even Montana Girl. I think it's going to be Rich. Is it? Or yes, it is. So, congratulations to Rich in that live chat room. I'll just move it over so you can see it. So, if you can let yourself be known in the live chat room, that would be massively appreciated, because Carla needs to get all the details from you so that she can send you that signed Wings of Pegasus pick to our winner tonight, who is Rich. As I always say, you have to be in it to win it. If you're not in the live chat room when the pick roulette is going on, then unfortunately we can't get the winning pick to you. So, commiserations to everybody else who didn't win tonight, but the great thing is that you can enter not only on Saturday nights but Tuesday nights as well. And next Tuesday we will be having a pick roulette, so let me get the roulette wheel off screen. There we go, it's disappeared. And now entrances for next week's pick roulette are now open. So you can now enter, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So what you need to do is head over to the live chat room and type in @Carla Murray. So we want to tag Carla's name in the comments and type I agree. And I'm going to send that through. If this is your first live stream, don't worry. If you just look into the live chat room now, you'll see everybody entering for next week's pick roulette. So that's what's happening. This is for next week's pick roulette, next Tuesday night. So make sure that if you do enter, that you are tuning in next week, because you have to be in the live chat room in order to pick up the prize. Exactly the same goes for Saturday's pick roulette. That is always for the next Saturday if we hit the target of the pick roulette likes goal. So keep on typing that in there. I think we're pretty much up to date with the donations. We have had one from Jennifer, who has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message was, Phil, your brain has spell check. Thanks for the laugh. So no problem. I think, yeah, my brain has a bit of a spell check, but it doesn't necessarily make it all the way through to the mouth. So I just kind of blurt it out before, my brain is actually ready for saying it. My mouth just says it. But anyway, thank you for that. And Kevin has donated £1 as well. Thank you for that, Kevin. The message is, Phil, fiber optics send information coded in a light beam down a fiber cable at the speed of light. That's 186,000. Oh, yeah, 186,000. I mean, that, yeah, I know what you mean, but miles per second in a vacuum, but slows to about 2/3 that speed in a fiber optic cable. So thank you for that, Kevin. And again, I mean, when you start talking about things traveling at the speed of light down a cable, you think, especially information traveling at the speed of light, well, you think, well, surely at some point, you know, millions of years into the future, if we can send information down a wire at the speed of light, then whatever we're using as that piece of technology, we can propel something at the speed of light. So yeah, it can't be that far a step to now having something that can travel at the speed of light. That's something that I thought about launching something into space, is that traveling at the speed of light, because space is a vacuum, if you built a rocket that could just accelerate for as long as possible, eventually it would hit the speed of light, maybe, because it's going so fast and there's nothing to stop it, because there's no air resistance, so it can just keep on traveling faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. But that's what I find fascinating about when looking up into the sky, and you've got astronomers. I want to make sure that I say things correctly now. Anyway, you have astronomers who are looking up into space and they see a star appear. They know that the star has been there for millions of years or something, but the light's taken that long to get to Earth that we've only just seen it. It's only just appeared. So when the star formed, that was like millions of years ago, but it hasn't yet formed. We haven't seen it yet because the speed of light hasn't got to us. We haven't seen the light from the star yet when it was made. Anyway, fascinating stuff, but again, having things that are just traveling at the speed of light is crazy. So anyway, thank you, Kevin, for that, and for educating me on the fiber optics and how they all work. But I think we're up to date with the donations, and we're gonna, again, I'm gonna throw it into that live chat room because it is 14 minutes past 1. So we're going to be calling things to a close imminently. Let me just have a quick hop over to Patreon to see anything that got requested, to see if we can just fit in a quick video. If anything got requested over here. And we had a lot of requests for different cover songs, so thank you guys for that. Teresa has said any fill tune, and Maria says library fill tune. We always tend to jump into the fill tunes when we're leaving a little bit of time to type I agree. So I can see that Baltimore Ravens is still typing I agree to enter. That'll be through in a second, so I will jump into this. We'll have a little look at this real life story, the library gig, just to give you guys a little bit extra time, and I'll see you guys after this when it will be the end of the live stream. So I'll see you guys in a second. Rock.
Guys, I'm so excited. I have just managed to get us an awesome gig.
Well, I do hope our definition of awesome coincide.
Well, I know a guy who works at a pub and he said we can play there this Friday night.
You know a guy. So far, to be honest, I'm on the fence about this gig. Persuade me. Where is the venue? Will I have heard of it?
The pub is called the Golden Guff. It is in Surrey. My friend has told me it will be amazing. We need this gig.
Well, it certainly sounds like a reputable joint. It's about an hour's drive, but I'm going to trust you on this. Let's book the gig.
We won't regret it. The place will be packed. I can't wait.
Wowzers, this pub really looks like a library. Hello there. Do you work here?
Yes, I do.
Yes, we do need help. Thanks for asking. We are the band who are playing here this evening. What is the plan?
Are you sure there's live music tonight?
Well, I ruddy hope so. If not, my bandmate has yet again stitched me up, as well as himself. So, who is in charge?
I am the only person working here tonight.
Well, at least we know, therefore it will not be busy tonight. Great. Where is the stage, and we'll start to set up?
Well, whenever someone has played an acoustic guitar, they have been sitting here, so you can play in this area.
Oh my guff heck of frig. You may actually notice there are tables and sofas in the way. not to mention just being a woeful position for music.
I'm afraid you'll have to move the table and sofas out of the way then.
Well, as I'm a musician and I want to play, I will do this manual labor in addition to the hour's drive. I also assume we are not getting paid for this gig.
That is correct.
At least you're holding up your end of the bargain. Well, let's get to work, guys. These sofas look like the heaviest sofas we will ever lift in our lives.
I'll leave you to it and I'll make sure that if you need anything, I will be impossible to find.
Many thanks for following standard protocol. Great job, guys. It only took an hour and I think I've got a hernia. But I'm sure it will all be totally worth it and not a gig we should have declined. Just the person I was looking for. So, where is the PA? Is it quite heavy to lift? And also, how many channels does your mixer have?
We don't have a PA here.
Ha 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 ha. That was a fantastically great joke. Wasn't it? Or should I say, it better have been.
No, what you see is what we have.
That, I'm afraid, is sweet guffaw. Well, what do you usually do on live music nights then?
Jacob usually does all the band stuff. He's not here today, but I have his number if you want to talk to him.
That might be an idea. At least every last detail of this gig has been meticulously planned by the venue, otherwise we could all look like absolute total amateurs. Hello Jacob, I'm Phil from the band that are playing at your pub tonight. Where is the PA? And the mixer? For the gig? Okay, so it's in your car. And you are in your car at the moment. And you're 5 hours drive away. Do you think this may be an issue? Considering we're playing in 45 minutes, you didn't realize what the time was? Oh well, that is a very acceptable excuse. I mean, how could anyone ever have foreseen these unlikely turn of events? Unbelievable. So here is the situation. The PA is 5 hours away. We have 45 minutes until we start. So this venue has quite truly rogered our collective bums in the guff.
Oh dear. I can't help feeling partially responsible for us being in this position.
Yes, I wonder why that is.
Just so you know, your friends and family are also just starting to arrive. They must have made the hour-long drive to support you.
Oh. Great. Well, as ridiculous as this sounds, I have purchased my own PA, so that if a music venue is retarded enough to not have any equipment, I have everything. It just so happens it's in my sister's boyfriend's van, who should be here shortly. So, it seems that you as a collective venue won't have egg on your face. You jammy dodgers.
I don't understand.
Oh, just that to the innocent onlooker, you'll look like you have a great PA system and are a great live music venue, when in fact you are actually a total load of rubbish guff venue. With no idea, and couldn't organize a piss-up in a brewery. Present location accepted. No offense.
None taken.
You are seriously mentally vacant. I'm going to slag off this pub to my family now. Bye.
And there we have it. That was one of my real life stories, and we are going to be calling things to a close now. So thank you guys so much for joining me on tonight's live stream. We're going to be live streaming again on Saturday night, 12 midnight as always. Saturday nights and Tuesday nights, 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. Again, I do mention this in every single live stream, and I still keep getting comments in about 4 or 5 hours time, people thinking that their comments going to show up in the live chat room. But just type it into Google, GMT, or time in London. I mean, that's the simplest thing to do. Time in London, type that in, and if it's not 22 minutes past, if I point that way it's going to be better, 22 minutes past 1 in the morning. If it's not that, when you type that into Google, time in London, then you're not watching it live. So just so you know that it's just a replay. And it will look live because it is live, but it won't be in the future. So if you want to catch it live, make sure that you tune in at 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time on a Tuesday night and a Saturday night, as it is here. Obviously, wherever you are, it might be in the afternoon, it might be early evening, just the different time zones determine what time it will be. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight. And for all of the donations as well, very kind donations which help me to do so much and get hard drives and everything that I need in order to keep the channel moving forward. But thank you for all of your support over on Patreon as well, and you guys know who you are. I'll be posting on there as always after this, but I'll keep you guys in the loop as to how things are going with the video. And Orlando just popped in there right at the end with a $2 donation saying, good, you lift weights, moving all that furniture. And yes, it was good that I lifted weights. I mean, that's the thing, that at the moment with this wrist, I mean, and the fact that I'm kind of did my other arm in as well, setting everything up for, I mean, this is the problem when you do everything yourself. You literally have to set everything up yourself. So yeah, you're probably a lot more likely to get injured lifting and moving things. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing at the moment. I haven't worked out for probably 3 months, something like that. So yeah, just wasting away, but very much looking forward to getting back to exercising. But I know in order to do that, I have to just take the pain, or take the pain of not working out and not kind of pushing things too early, so that I can eventually get back into it and get back to kind of where I was and not have any potentially constant weakness in particular tendons and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, gotta wait I mean, tendons take a hell of a long time to recover, but just gotta wait for them to do their thing. But anyway, thank you for that, Orlando, and thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I'm going to see you guys at another video tomorrow night, and hopefully I'll see you on Saturday night as well, because I will always be there. Haven't missed a stream in about 3 years, something like that. So if you can make it, I will be there, and it'll be great to see you. Thanks for all of the thumbs up as well. Everybody take care. And with the whole COVID thing here in the UK, I think on Thursday, everything's being lifted. So theoretically, everything goes back to normal. Obviously, they are predicting that cases are going to spike because it's now going to get spread around more. But I think the Omicron thing isn't as serious. So I think the government have just kind of allowed it, or are going to allow it to spread around a bit so people get natural immunity as well as having the vaccine and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what's happening here in the UK. But everybody stay as safe as possible. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!